Hey y'all, and welcome to day 12 of our 12 days of Christmas and giveaways. I am sad to see this come to an end because all of the comments and support for these 12 days have been absolutely incredible. And I seriously cannot thank y'all enough for all of your support and all of the companies that participated in donating some prizes in support of our 15,000 subscriber milestone. Alright, so let's jump into this tutorial. So my daughter has tried to steal every single board that I have made, so I wanted to make her a Christmas one just to make her something a little special and a keepsake. So what better than to make a Santa and reindeer snack tray for her to lay out the night before Christmas. So I found this Acadia, I think I said that right, wood tray on Amazon. I will tell you that this one was not cheap. I think I paid around $40 for this tray. So if you are making them to sell for Christmas, I would definitely go with some nice trays that you can find at Hobby Lobby, or of course hit up that Target dollar section as soon as they start putting their Christmas stuff out. But of course, I will have this tray linked down below for y'all. It's beautiful by itself. It is very, very high quality, and I was super impressed when I got it. So the two paints that we are using to make our custom mix is Latte and Grounded from COLORFLEX. And I don't know if you noticed, but my makeup brush has two ends. One is a thick all over makeup brush and the other one is a smaller. That would have really been helpful whenever we did our ornament trays. So I will try to find a link for this on Amazon, but if not, I will link it from Walmart because it's pretty awesome, and obviously it gives you really nice smooth coats with the COLORFLEX paints. So originally I was going to use an opal glitter for this tray, so I took all of my opals that I had from PDB Creative Studio, and I did freeze this shot for y'all just in case you wanted to screenshot and have it for your own reference. But I put them all out on this sheet of cardboard just after I painted a close color to what I anticipated using, just to see how all of them would show up and pick the perfect color for this project. Obviously, I didn't end up using a solid opal at all. I mixed a little Heart Happy in with Extravaganza, both from PDB Creative Studio. I mentioned before that this was not my favorite way to apply glitter to a tray or any sort of project. I like using the epoxy method, laying my glitter down first, patting that glitter down, and then putting 2 coats of epoxy on top. And the reason I like doing that better than mixing my glitter and epoxy is I feel that bubbles can get trapped underneath glitter whenever you put it directly into epoxy and onto your board. And those bubbles can continue to rise as your project cures. And unfortunately, mine had quite a bit of rising bubbles since I mixed quickly. I just wasn't thinking, and I tried to go in with my torch and my heat gun to get rid of them. But if you torch too much, if you apply too much heat to epoxy, that can also cause it to bubble, so it looked horrendous. So I had to heat all of that epoxy up in the center after it dried, scrape it all out, repaint, and then we used new Dawn glitter from COLORFLEX to cover up any imperfections that were in the bottom of the board. I gave that 2 coats of epoxy so it was smooth for our decals, and headed over to Creative Fabrica to download this really cute Snack for Santa file. Now, most of the time when images are intended to be cut out of vinyl, they come in layers. So I imported the SVG for this Snack for Santa file and then just pulled it over into my design space, resized it to 8 1/4 so it would fit my 8 1/2 inch board. Then I highlighted my image and created a 0.025 offset. I wanted to offset this in white so it would stand out from the darker color that we had to put on our board. If you do this, I do highly suggest doing a 0.035 offset. It is so much easier. Although it doesn't sound like a big difference, it makes a huge difference in lining your vinyl up and layering it. All you have to do is select Make It and then grab the colors of the vinyl that you need for your project. Of course, I used all TeckWrapcraft vinyl. It is the absolute best to use, especially for things like this. The vinyl is high quality, it's nice and smooth, and it cuts incredibly well. My favorite packs to have on hand, so I don't have a bunch of rolls of vinyl sitting around, is the starter pack 001 matte and also the basic color in matte as well. All of the vinyl that we used for this came from these two packs because I have such a variety of colors to choose from, with the exception of the two shimmer vinyls, and I used the white shimmer vinyl for our offset, and then I used the black shimmer vinyl for the offset that was in the original image. The only color that I was completely out of was brown. So what I did was take a tan color, the same color that we used for our Santa face that we are going to be using here in a bit, and I cut the antlers and the cookie shape out of the tan vinyl. I took a piece of 220 grit sandpaper and brushed that over before I weeded that vinyl out. I grabbed the root beer brown from Color Shot Paints and gave that 2 very light dustings of spray paint, or until I had really good coverage. And on that last coat, while it was still wet, I weeded out my antlers and our cookie. So rather than using transfer tape to apply those, you will see me applying all of those individually or by hand instead of using the transfer tape. You can take the tackiness away from the transfer tape, and it would be probably easier to apply it that way. I was just running out of that tan vinyl, and I really didn't want to have to cut it and spray paint it all over again because these turned out so well. So if you follow TeckWrapcraft on Instagram, you will see tons and tons of inspiration for projects, especially like this, or the Libby can glasses, and they make it look like a piece of cake just to layer entire sheets at one time. I don't feel that I'm experienced enough with layering vinyl that I could tackle doing it all at once, like full sheets, each color, just layering it down. There's no way. I would have it all over the place. So I'm taking each individual element and applying it one at a time. So Santa was our largest decal, and I saved that for last because I knew I was going to have trouble lining it up. What I ended up doing is taking it over to a window. If you have a light pad, you can use that as well. And with the light coming in from the window, I was able to line that up with my white offset, and it was nice and straight. So once I had this done, I put on a full sheet of transfer tape, and then I'm just going to use my squeegee tool to help remove the backing or release it from our decals before we attempt to add it to our board. I am going to place it back down, but releasing it first really helps remove it as you are pressing the vinyl down onto your board or whatever project or tumbler that you're working on. So I'm going to stand this up so I get it nice and straight. Press down the little exposed part so it keeps it in place. Remove that backing and then use the squeegee tool to press the remaining parts down. After I finished applying our vinyl, I popped any bubbles using the tip of my craft blade, or you can also use a vinyl weeding tool. And then I added on our final layers of epoxy. For this board, I did use a 30 milliliter layer. The center of this board is about 8.5 inches, and again I used about 30 milliliters, and then I went in with a second 30 milliliter vinyl coat. I am very happy with the way that this turned out. I don't know about y'all, but if you make things for your kids or your grandbabies or anything like that, I tend to stress way more over the things that I'm making for my daughter than anything. I guess because we just want everything to be perfect for them, right? I may have got blisters from scraping out all of that dried epoxy and glitter out of the center of this board, but I did get a very big hug, and I love it so much, Mommy, out of my daughter when I gave it to her, so it makes it all worth it. Since this is our final of the 12 days of Christmas tutorials and giveaways, I am going to give away a custom tumbler of the winner's choice. So make sure you are subscribed to our channel and head to join Brittany Barnes Boutique Tumbler Art Group on Facebook to enter our giveaway. That is all for today. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you next time.